Hi everyone, I'm Nate and welcome to Elevate with Nate, a place for learning, growth and self-improvement. Join me as we explore a wide range of topics, sharing insights and new knowledge from my personal learning journey. In today's video, we're going to be looking at something called NFC technology, which stands for Near Field Communication Technology. And I stumbled across this actually recently whilst filling out some passport info on the internet. I think it was for a renewal, I forget. But essentially, the instructions online told me to grab my passport, okay, the newer ones with little chips, and with my smartphone, iPhone, just place the top of my iPhone at the bottom of the outside of my passport, and it will get the information, which I thought, how? This must be complete nonsense. I did it. The passport phone placed it there, not on the inside, the outside, and suddenly on my phone, bam, it had all my information from the inside of the passport and more. And I was fascinated. I thought to myself, how is this possible? I didn't even have to open up, let's say, the camera app. It was nothing. It was just like that. And it turns out that this isn't the only application for this. There are many others, but the main one you would have heard of yourselves is probably contactless payments. So whether you're using your credit or debit card to pay for things, maybe in the underground or in shops, or even using on your smartphones, Apple Pay, Google Pay, these all use this NFC tech. So in today's video, let's break down exactly how this works. So to give a brief kind of definition of the NFC technology, it essentially is a set of communication protocols that enable two electronic devices to transmit, kind of pass, exchange data within close proximity. So generally within a few centimeters apart. And as mentioned previously, we already know some of the main uses such as the electronic passports and contactless payments, but also it's used in access control and information sharing. And as a final point here, NFC is actually a subset of something called RFID, radio frequency identification, which I actually touched upon briefly in one of my previous videos on wireless charging, which will be linked above here, so give it a watch. Right, so I want to break down today in particular how the ePassports work and the contactless payments. So let's start with the passports. So for most modern passports now, they will have in it a NFC chip, often called tag, which inside it will have all the important information such as the passport photo, the name, date of birth, all the usual stuff. But these NFC tags with chips, they're passive, which means that they have no power source. So by themselves, it can't do anything. But there are other devices called NFC readers, which by using or creating a magnetic field are able to induce power in the NFC chips, so say in your passport. And actually this whole technique of using a magnetic field are also discussed in that wireless charging video. So in that scenario there, if you have your NFC chip and your NFC reader and put them together, at that point the NFC chip gets the power and can now, after being requested for some data, can pass it back to the reader. So as you can probably guess now, in your credit cards and debit cards, it will have the exact same stuff. It has that NFC chip. And actually, just for now, when talking about using your mobile phone for the passport situation, in that scenario, it will act as the NFC reader. There'll be a small device at the top of your phone which has in it the NFC reader, the antenna, which can create this magnetic field. So your phone has that. But your smartphone devices actually have dual functionality, because even though the device inside it at the top are able to be an NFC reader, they can also act as an NFC chip. Because think about it, in the scenario where you want to pay using Apple Pay on your phone, in that scenario there, the thing which you're going to be kind of tapping into will be the reader. Your phone has information, your phone will be the NFC chip. So your smartphones have both. Okay, so we now know that the NFC reader will create this magnetic field to produce power to the NFC chip, and then there'll be some data transfer. But let's break down now exactly how this data transfer occurs. So the actual name given to this transfer of data between the NFC chip and the reader is called load modulation. And what happens here is the NFC tag or chip, it modulates the load on its antenna in the chip when in contact with this electromagnetic field. And this modulation alters the characteristics of the electromagnetic field, which the reader will detect and it can interpret it too. And how this happens is that the chip essentially will alter and change the resistance in the antenna circuit, and this will create the change in the magnetic field, which is of course detected by the reader. And of course, all these changes can be detected and changed into kind of binary, into code, and from there, that's how it can kind of read what is being sent to it by the chip. Right, so hopefully now you understand a bit more about how this works. So going back to your passport and phone scenario here, you should now be able to understand how this works. So you've got the NFC chip in your passport, NFC reader in your phone, that has both. And that scenario there, the phone, the reader, will create the electromagnetic field, which will then create power into your NFC chip, which then modulates the field to pass across the data, which then in your device, the software inside it can then display this data. And for contactless payment with your smartphone, it's very similar, but now the smartphone acts as the NFC chip, and again, got the reader, and you go from there. Same process. Right, so next time you now use a contactless payment method, you'll now know exactly how it works. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and bell notification. Feel free to leave any comments and any suggestions for future content. And as ever, onwards and upwards.